Okay, you're it.
All right, let me go ahead and share my screen. Let me know if it works. Did that work?
Yes.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Well, great. Well, let me see here. All right. Well, Melissa, thanks so much for having me. Folks, my name is Aaron. I'm with Trio Residential. We are a new company that's coming to North Carolina. We should be there hopefully this month, if not next month. We're just waiting on a few things. So I always like to go ahead and get started with a quick little impromptu survey. You can participate if you'd like to, or use the little emojis that are available in Zoom. But I always like to start off with asking any real estate agents if they've ever lost a deal because of a late stage credit denial. That seems to be a kind of a popular one, especially right now. Or if customers had no income seasoning, that's also a really popular one, unfortunately. One that we're seeing a lot more of right now, especially as home prices are going up, up, and up. If you have lost a deal because the customer had no down payment assistance, maybe they made too much money and weren't able to get any sort of DPA. Have you ever lost a deal because the customer was self-employed, or maybe they were a 1099 contract worker? That's also a really popular one, right? How do we help those folks out that are in that entrepreneurial spirit, those gig workers, folks like that? And have you ever lost a deal because the customer had a credit score lower than 620? Well, if you answered yes to any of those, well, then you're actually in the right place. My name is Aaron, like I said, and I'm from Trio, and we are a new lease-to-own company that is coming to North Carolina here, hopefully, like I said, this month or next month. And the reason why I say hopefully, it's already been approved. And when I say that, we are HUD approved, so we're approved by the federal. But we also need to be approved by the state. And we've actually been approved by the state, but we're just getting the last signature. So that's what we're just kind of waiting on right now. But it has been approved by the state to go ahead and bring it in. So we do work in conjunction with the government to go ahead and bring this lease to own home ownership program to states. And we were created to go ahead and bridge that gap between renting and owning. Most customers feel like they only have two options, right? Either renting or owning. But what about those customers that kind of fall in between? Those ones that might be a small business owner, customers that maybe one of the spouses has too low of credit, or maybe they just don't have any income seasoning because they just started a new job, right? There's all sorts of little scenarios out there. Well, that's why Trio was formed. And we've been around for 20 years. We've been working with HUD since the beginning. And the reason why they like us so much is because they, according to them, 68 million Americans can only use a program such as Trio to go ahead and get into home ownership. So it tells you, if you do the math right there, that's a fifth of Americans. So 1/5 of Americans can only use a program such as Trio. So I'm sure as you're working with customers, you may have 5 customers out there, but there's one that's kind of troublesome in terms of helping them get into either approved for a loan or just in home ownership in general, right? And hopefully Trio can kind of solve those issues for you. Now, there are other lease to own programs out there, but we are very different in that sense. And so I want to kind of show you how we are different right here. Well, we're different because when Trio purchases the property for the customer, we're actually using an FHA loan. So that means a couple different things right there. First of all, we're the only company in the country that's allowed to go ahead and purchase a property using an FHA loan. And what that means is if you have lenders that you like to work with, well, guess what? They get to go ahead and originate Trio's loan to go ahead and for us to go ahead and purchase that property for the customer. So lenders can participate. But for the customer, this means that the customer can go ahead and assume the FHA loan when they're ready to go ahead and buy. We're offering them a lease right now, but we're going to give them all the tools and education so that at the end of the lease, when they're ready to go ahead and fully convert into home ownership, they can actually assume that FHA loan. So that means that pretty much every dollar that they've spent in the Trio program going towards the P&I and the lease and everything like that has actually gone towards the purchase of that property. So that means at the end of 3 years, the customer might be assuming, let's say, a 27-year mortgage as opposed to a 30-year, right? So that's one of the nice things about that FHA loan. Now, that's just one of the things that makes us different. I'm going to go over the other ones right now. And at Trio, we always like to say, hence because of our name, good things come in threes, right? So this is just briefly what the customer journey kind of looks like. There's one, getting started with Trio. Two, leasing that property with Trio and living in that property that they've chosen. And then three, that full transition into home ownership. Now, I'm going to break all these down for you right here, but I just want to make sure that you're aware you're involved in step number one, getting started with Trio. That's where they are applying with Trio. That's where they are finding the right home for their family. So let's go ahead and get started and break each one of these down with getting started with Trio. The first one is always nice to see. The customer is applying directly through Trio, and it's a free application for them. It doesn't cost them anything. So if you have any sort of near quals or anybody that you feel might be near qual or anything like that, you know what? Have them apply for Trio. That way you always have something in the back just to go ahead and make sure that you're making this safe for that customer. It's a free application. You can find it at our website, thinktrio.com. And I guess the biggest difference at the very beginning is rather than a customer applying for a loan and getting pre-approved that way, they're getting pre-approved through Trio. Okay. So we're their financing company to go ahead and help them get pre-approved. Once they're pre-approved, and just so you know, that process takes about 2 to 3 business days once we have a completed file on for our underwriting team. They'll get that pre-approval letter just like they would with, from a lender. And then you and the customer can go shopping for a home of their choice. We do not have restrictions based on school zones or neighborhoods or anything like that. The restriction would be obviously, what the customer gets approved for. So, yeah, we're pretty open to helping customers wherever they want to live. We're here to help them out. One of the nice things that we always get asked is the customer does not need a down payment to get into Trio. Okay. We're paying, Trio is paying for that down payment and paying all those fees for that customer to get into that property. So they do not need a down payment. So think about all those customers out there that do have a tough time, raising enough money for a down payment or anything right now. That's where Trio can absolutely come in and help them out, right? Folks that, let's say, like a young professionals or folks that are just getting started, like right out of college. Those are great folks for us to go ahead and help out there because they don't have enough money saved up just yet for that down payment. Like I said before, the lender originates the FHA loan for Trio to go ahead and purchase that property. We end up purchasing that property. You as the agent, you earn your full commission on this, and then the customer moves in. So that goes to show you that process right there, our closing process takes around 30 days, just on average. Working with agents that understand the program and with title companies that understand the program, we can get this down to about 20 days right now. All right, so let's move on to, let's assume the customer has found the right home. Trio's bought it and they have moved into that property. Well, there's a couple really interesting things. We want to make sure that the customer succeeds in the program and can get to that finish line, that full transition into home ownership, right? So that starts with our success program. All of our customers go through this, and this is 2 years of financial coaching and credit repair that all our customers are going through. Okay. This could be as simple as, just putting together a budget. It could also be as intense as, fixing any sort of credit issues to raise their credit score in the long run, right? So there's all sorts of, depending on the customer situation, this will adjust. Trio's home care program. This is a home warranty on all the appliances and electronics in the house through Fidelity and National Home Warranty. That also comes with the property. Fixed monthly payment, I really like this one because a lot of customers that we talk to, what are they thinking about at the end of the year? They're always thinking about, oh goodness, the rent is going to go up, right? And rent has definitely been going up, up, and up. Well, this means that every month and every year that the customer is leasing that property through Trio, that their monthly payment will actually stay exactly the same. It really helps them out as they're starting to really try to make a budget for themselves, right? And really start to think long term on terms of savings. This will really help them out right there. And then finally, like the picture says, it's Trio is very pet friendly. This means that customers do not have to pay for any sort of pet deposit or any sort of pet rent. So if you have any furry friends and you're renting, that definitely limits the places that you can find places to live, right? Well, not with Trio. Again, no pet deposit and no pet rent, which is really nice. Now let's go to that third phase, that final phase that we want customers to get to, that full transition into home ownership. The lease is 3 years, but customers can buy early. Most customers buy between years 2 and years 3. And the reason for that is a couple different reasons. First of all, their financial coaching and their credit repair, that's the first 2 years of the program. Okay. So they will have completed that and been in a good financial state at the end of those first 2 years. The other reason is they have a locked in option price, and that also happens at the end of 2 years in the program. Okay. That locked in option price is going to be as low as 1% over cost. So take, for example, a $300,000 home. Trio buys that home for $300,000. In 2 years, even 3 years in the program, that customer's option price is going to be $303,000. Now, we all know home prices are going up, up, and up. So it's nice to know that that option price is locked in for the customer. So that's really great to know. Trio's home purchase assistance. This is a really, really important part right here. This purchase assistance is the equity that has been building in the home throughout the lease process. Trio's been given access to go ahead and give that to the customer so they can use that towards the down payment and closing costs when they're ready to buy. So if that home's appreciating, that's actually really good for the customer, right? That means that's now going to be down payment for them to earn so they can use that towards the down payment and closing costs when they're ready to purchase. And then finally, the customer can assume the FHA loan. It's just one of their options, and Trio is always going to buy that home using an FHA loan. But at the end of the lease, the customer can assume the FHA loan, or they can go with a VA loan, or, if they've got enough down payments saved up, they can go for a conventional if they'd like to, right? There's a couple different options for them right there. So something to kind of think about. But it obviously shows you that we're really thinking about them, giving them all the opportunities right here and giving them all the bells and whistles to make sure that they can fully transition into home ownership. Let me give you a quick example right here. Again, this is that same $300,000 home. When Trio bought it, it was $300,000. I'm just using simple math here. Let's say the new home value is $330,000 at the end of 3 years. That's not uncommon right now, right? But remember, the customer's option price is only going to be 1% higher than the original purchase price. So their option price is $303,000. You take the 330 minus the 303 and you get $27,000. That is actually our average of being able to gift that equity to the customer again, so they can use that towards the down payment and closing costs when they're ready to buy. So gives you a quick little example right here. We have customers, just depending on, obviously, if we get the question, well, can they buy early? They can. They just may not get as much down payment. With home prices appreciating as much as they are right now, customers are obviously wanting to stay a little bit longer, get more of a down payment. It's not like they're having to move or anything like that, right? They're still going to be staying in the same house. Excuse me. But they are obviously going to be leasing the home as opposed to owning the home. Now, if they're going to be assuming that FHA loan, it's essentially sort of the same thing because they're assuming that new FHA loan, right? So because of all that, something that's really nice to go ahead and share with everybody is we have an over 80% conversion rate. This number is actually at 85% right now. This means that 85% of our customers that get into the Trio program become homeowners through the Trio program. No other company in the country can even come close to this number. To give you an example, the nearest competition we have in terms of conversion rate is 80% lower than this. So that gives you kind of an idea right there. So 85% of our customers become homeowners through Trio. Another interesting 80% fact is that 80% of our customers are from unrepresented populations, right? It could be from African American population, could be from Asian American population, could be from single parents. There's all sorts of different categories out there. And this is one of those major ones right there. And this is one of the reasons why HUD absolutely loves us and loves what we do. So I'm just going to share with you quickly some of the customers we see quite often here at Trio. So that way, when you're starting to work with one of these customers, you can say, you know what, maybe we should also fill out a Trio application. The first one in the top corner, the cute couple holding the keys there that just moved into that nice new home. These are folks that are first-time home buyers. 97% of Trio's customers are first-time home buyers. And you're probably saying, well, I work with first-time home buyers all the time, and that's great. Please realize that the majority of Trio's customers that come to us do not come to us with an agent or a lender attached to them. So these are new customers that did not realize they could actually be a homeowner until they've gone through some sort of government housing program that taught them about Trio. Now they're using Trio to go ahead and get into home ownership. The two people doing the high five up there, these are small business owners, entrepreneurs, 1099 contract workers. Let me give you some of the job descriptions we see often. We see hairstylists, barbers, personal trainers, massage therapists. We see lawyers, doctors, and CPAs that own their own firms. We see a lot of Lyft and Uber drivers. We see many, many truck drivers come through. We have musicians, designers, performing artists. And maybe the ultimate stamp of approval is that we have many customers that are real estate agents. It kind of tells you right there, they trust the program enough to use it for themselves as well. The gentleman who is really excited to be getting his student loans in about 6 months right there, that recent graduate right there, this is a young professional without a down payment. Usually when you're going for a loan, you would need at least 2 years of work history. That's not the case with Trio at all. We work with folks. In fact, our youngest customer was 19 years old when they joined the program. They had just graduated from high school, and they were wanting to go ahead and put their money towards something else, right? And so they were using Trio's program, and at 21 years old, they finished our home ownership program and became a home owner. So remember, you don't need to be have 2 years of work history to go ahead and work with Trio. So that's important to note right there. And then finally, the mother and daughter right there. This one's an important one. These are folks that are going through a major life transition. So maybe a divorce, maybe loss of a loved one. Maybe they've got a new job and they're relocating for that new job, right? Relocation and new jobs are always red flags for lenders, but that's something that we can absolutely go ahead and do right here. Now, what are the Trio requirements? Well, and just so you know, you can find this on our website, thinktrio.com. We're very transparent about all this. We want to make sure that the customer has 24 months of positive housing history. Okay. Right. No evictions, nothing like that. We want to make sure that they've got a monthly income. This is a combined monthly household income of $3,600 or more a month. And we've seen as many as 5 people putting that together to go ahead and get that monthly income to where it needs to be. Credit score, very generous right here at a 550 or higher. So that's something to kind of think about right there. DTI, also very generous at 50%. Minimum in savings, we just want to make sure the customer's not wanting to use their credit card for everything with Trio, right? Want to make sure that they have a little bit of cushion. So we want to make sure they have at least $4,000 in savings. And then finally, no more than a third of that household income can go towards the lease. This one's my favorite right here because it means that the customer won't become house poor throughout this situation, right? That's really, really important. Now, I will be honest with you that a few of these we're being a little bit more lenient on, especially in the last year during COVID. So it's still a good time to go ahead and help your customers and get them to apply and see if they do qualify for the program. In terms of the type of homes that we can do single family homes, we can do condos, or we can do townhomes. We buy old homes and we buy brand new homes. We work with many new home builders to go ahead and bring Trio to that area. No matter what, the home does need to pass, obviously, an FHA home inspection. I know it's popular to waive that nowadays, but HUD still wants us to go ahead and do that for obvious reasons. We want to make sure that that customer is walking into a property that isn't a money pit in any sort of way. We are obviously using an FHA loan, but the nice thing about our program is we will actually go 3% higher than the FHA loan limit in that county. So obviously, FHA limits do vary from county to county. We'll go 3% higher than that in wherever that customer is looking. And then we have to be located within approved markets. We are available in all the green states right now, and we will be available in the blue states here, hopefully at the end of this month or at the beginning of July. So that's what we're told. And as you can see there, North Carolina and South Carolina will be available here very, very soon. So why would you want to come join Trio? Well, there's a lot of different things, but I think it's always nice to obviously have a new financing product available, right? This is one that's obviously going to help you increase your closings, reach new customers, create more transactions. In short, it's just going to solve a lot of problems. It might not solve every problem out there, but it will solve a lot of problems. And let me just give you an example of a couple different agents that we had. Two last year had actually crossed the 20 mark. These were agents that started the program last year, actually around March of last year. And one of them closed 25 homes. One of them closed 24 homes with Trio. They did it in totally different ways. One of them did it all with new home builders. One of them was working with folks that were either going through a divorce or already single parents. And those were two areas that she felt she needed to help the community out with. And remember, these are just on top of their already large portfolio of homes that they're already selling. So it's important to kind of know right there. And I only have just a couple minutes left. So I just want to make sure I share this right here. So if you're interested in the Trio program, go to trioresidential.com. It's a totally separate website for agents and lenders out there. And then register to become a Trio preferred agent. It's absolutely free for you to do so. And Melissa, I believe you have all the information on that as well. So if anybody has any questions, you can always reach out to Melissa, or you can reach out to us at info@thinktrio.com. Again, info@thinktrio.com. And that's all I have. I apologize for my short time today, but I do appreciate you all being here. I do have time for maybe one question, or Melissa, if you have something that you'd like to go ahead and add.
I know you covered quite a bit last time, and I think we had some good questions last time, and I cannot even think of what they are.
No worries.
I have a question.
Okay.
Yes. Can you go over the lock-in option price? Is the only cost to the buyer the 1% overpriced?
Yeah.
For the lock-in option price, yeah.
Yeah. So the locked-in option price, it's as low as 1% over cost. So for the Trio customer, like I said, for a $300,000 home, it would be 1% higher than that. So if it's a $350,000 home, it'd be $3,500 over that, right? So that's what their option price is going to be.
Okay. That's the only cost.
Okay.
I had a question. What is the general, is there a percentage like for the monthly lease amount? What do they look at usually for the cost of that per month?
Sure. And we have that on our website. There's a calculator for that. They are going to be paying essentially for that FHA loan. So it's that FHA loan, what plus about 5 or 10% higher, depending on that particular county's property taxes.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, sure.
So
Okay,
I
folks,
was,
I apologize. I do need to jump off. But again, if you have questions, info@thinktrio.com, or you can visit our website, thinktrio.com, or this one right here to go ahead and get started as a Trio preferred agent, trioresidential.com.
thank you
Okay,
so
Melissa.
much, Aaron, for doing this again for us. I appreciate it.
Sure, sure. Let me see. How do I go ahead and switch it back on over to?
I stole it back.
You did. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
All right. All right, folks. Thanks so much. I really appreciate your time today. I look forward to working with you.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank
All
you.
right. And we have a couple more vendors that jumped on. We've got Nicole with Home Warranties of America and Matthew with Geico. So whoever wants to jump in first, go ahead.
Ladies first. Nicole, would you like to go?
Just trying to unmute myself. Hey, y'all, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I was going to go over a couple things, but let me just start with the basics about HWA. Just a quick recap. We're the 13 months. We have unlimited Freon, which is really great right now. Freon's super expensive. So all those old R22 systems out there that still take Freon, we have uncapped Freon that that's covered. We also just extended, I sent out a bomb today. I don't know if y'all got it. We extended the Arlo promo. So we're giving out the free Arlo security camera, and that's on all new buyers orders. And that now is good through the end of June. It doesn't mean that you have to close by the end of June. It just means that the order has to be placed by the end of June. Okay. And then I wanted to go over some of the add-ons that we have. I know Melissa and I spoke about, if you're not selling property in Mecklenburg County, all of the surrounding counties, we're seeing a lot of septic. So we can offer as an add-on both the septic pump, and that coverage is $75, and that will cover up to $500 worth of repairs. The key there, though, is that you have to have a septic inspection within 90 days of closing for that for your people to actually to take advantage of using the coverage. So we offer that, but we also have another coverage of the actual septic and sewer lines. So, and the cost of the septic and sewer line, that's $195, that covers up to $5,000 worth of repairs. We also have well coverage. So well coverage is $100 to cover the well, and that'll cover up to $1,500 worth of coverage. Another thing, we've got pools and spas. We have both a saltwater pool and spa, and that's $375. And then we have just a regular chlorine pool and spa, and that one is, I want to say that one's $190. So when you're looking at the home warranty, it's more than just, like we've gone over the peach, the appliances, the electrical, the cooling, and the heating. We've got all of these extra add-ons. Does anybody have any questions for me about that? Does anyone have any questions about anything? No? Okay.
Y'all provide the seller's coverage, right? If needed.
We do. So seller's coverage is free. Seller's coverage is free. It is good for 6 months. It's nothing for your seller, and it'll cover up to $1,500 worth of coverage. What we're seeing a lot of people do is they'll put the seller's coverage on the listing, and then they'll offer it to the buyer when they're working out the due diligence, those repair negotiations. Even though a lot of sellers are not doing a lot, we're seeing those so that they walk away and it's a clean deal for the agent and the seller. We're seeing them then go from the seller's coverage to the buyer's coverage and just offer it as an extension to the buyer. Yes. Thank you. Good question, Melissa. Anybody else have anything else? Well, I'm here to answer questions. If you guys want to send your buyers to me, I'm more than happy. Everybody that works with me knows that I answer my phone, that I'm prompt to respond, and that I'm there to add value to this. I'm not just there, I'm there to add value and be part of your team. So if you need anything or have any questions, please reach out to me. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time, everybody.
Thank you. All right, Matthew.
Hey, Melissa, how are you doing this
Good,
morning?
good.
Doing good. Good. Well, good morning, guys. Just take a minute of your time. I got a call yesterday morning to kick off my after Memorial Day break at 9:15 from a loan officer in the, I believe, Davidson area. And the call went in something like this. Hey, Matthew, my client, they're trying to close today, which was yesterday. So they was closing on Tuesday, the same day they called me. You see the client's working with Geico, but they did it online. They don't have an agent. We need a copy of something changed. The date, effective date was wrong. Can you help? And I had to advise them that no, unfortunately, I cannot access the policy to service it. I can write you a new policy. But guys, it gives me pause to kind of reinforce, guys, get involved with insurance to where your lender doesn't call me at 9:15 on a after Memorial Day Tuesday and have that problem. So there's so many opportunities we see where if the agents would get involved, we would have a whole lot less scrambling to do and down the road. Just yesterday, guys, we got a number of flooding and calls with situations where people need it now. And by making the referral, and we're going to touch on that just briefly here in a moment, but by making the referral easier for your client, you also protect your lender sanity and maybe sometimes our own sanity, but your client's, stress level by getting us knocked out early rather than waiting until the literal last minute. And guys, unfortunately, that's happening more often than not. And so how do you avoid that? How do you make sure your client gets this taken care of to begin with? And that's real simple. You shoot a text, and many of you should have my phone number. If not, I'm going to place it in a chat once more. Shoot me a text and then shoot the client a text together. Do a joint text or a joint email. Open that dialogue and let us communicate. If we're waiting for the client to reach out to us, many times they never do. They go online. Or let me tell you what happened about 2 weeks ago. We had an agent, perhaps it was in this office, that referred a client to me. The client said, well, I know that Melissa means well, but I'm just going to go to this office over here. And they went to an office, got a quote for a $2,000 a year double wide policy. And some of you say, well, Matthew, double wides are expensive. Yeah, they are, but still that's kind of rich for a double wide. But that's not the problem. The problem is that it was really a modular. My team, we have a homeowner specialty department in my office. We actually figured out this is actually a modular and wrote that policy for $700 because it was truly a modular, not a double wide. So that's a prime example of if that agent had connected the client, they would have saved the client about an hour of hassle. But unfortunately, they did not. So guys, if you are in the mind to refer, I would just invite you to shoot an intro text or shoot an intro email. I assure you, I've been in this business 20 years. I can promise you, it will make your life easier at some point. Maybe not this transaction, maybe not the next transaction, but it'll be a matter of time before it does impact you. So guys, as a reminder, we do write throughout North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. I have agents from time to time tell me, I didn't know you write at South Carolina, or I didn't know you write at the coast. Guys, we write all over North Carolina. We licensed in South Carolina and Virginia as well. And we do have Spanish speaking staff available. And as always, guys, what I premise my service on is availability until 10 p.m. every day of the year. So Memorial Days, did we get calls? Yes. On Labor Day, do we get calls? Yes. Sundays and Saturdays. If it's 7 p.m. and your client has a seller possession question, call me. I'll even call your client for you to make sure that they understand that everything's going to be okay, that we can assure that. If it's 5 p.m. and your client Doris needs to call me to find out how much insurance is, and by the way, this is on a Sunday, call me. I'll talk to Doris. We'll get you taken care of. And guys, that's the level of service. And last thing I'll mention to you, one trend we're seeing is insurance companies charging your clients doc fees, application fees of up to $200. When you don't get involved with insurance, when you don't refer to someone who doesn't do this, you open up the liability that your client could possibly do that. We want to help your clients avoid paying fees because we charge nothing to buy a policy. So guys, I'll at this point pipe down. If you have any questions, feel free to ask away or call me, text me. But I've already given you the spoiler. You know, you can call me until 8 o'clock. So some of you will probably try to test me tonight at 8:30. But if you do, I look forward to passing that test. So if any questions are had, feel free to ask now. If not, I'll catch you guys later and I'll put my information in chat once more.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, Dina. Is there anything you guys have to tell us or go over or words of wisdom? No? Are you even there, Dina?
Hey, I'm here. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
It's her fault.
Oh. Anyway.
You asked me, did you say something to me just now directly?
Yes, I did. I didn't know if there was any, I didn't know if there was anything that y'all needed to go over or whatever, since Chris had a conflict in his schedule.
Chris, do you have anything?
No, I don't have anything.
Oh, see, that's it. Tell me you're on an appointment and then just be hanging out in the corner.
I think we've already said though, don't forget to renew your license and make sure your continuing education's done.
And your privilege license.
Your privilege license. I can't think of anything else right now. Questions? Concerns? Comments? Suggestions? Yeah. Like, I feel like they're looking at me with their beautiful pictures. It's good, Haley.
You can talk about it. Because we would have told them that there was a conference room.
So we are constructing a conference room in the middle of the big area in the Kannapolis office. When did you say that's going to start?
Next week.
So next week there will be, a construction zone. It won't be crazy, just like the other two offices that were built weren't, like a crazy mess. But just so you know, we're gonna have a conference room so that, if you do need to have clients come in or and you need privacy, or there have been more mobile attorneys that have come to the office, and so that you feel like you can have a conversation and everything and be behind closed doors. That room will be available to anyone and everyone. So that'll be a nice addition to the Kannapolis office.
Dina, will there be a way to schedule that room instead of just assuming it will be available when we need it, or how would it work?
Let's figure something like that out, but obviously, you know,
We can hang a schedule on the door.
Oh,
okay,
yeah, that's a good idea.
okay. Yeah, we'll figure that part out, whether we try to make something that's online so you don't have to necessarily come into the office. We'll try to make it as flawless
Maybe
as
on
we
the
can.
education calendar.
Education.
They
That's
can't,
not
they
interactive.
can't plug.
Oh,
It's
okay.
not interactive. We need an interactive, calendar. We'll work on that.
Okay. Yeah, good idea, Sherry. We'll look into that one. Otherwise I can't think of anything exciting.
I'll keep plugging.
Well, I think Chris has a broker Q&A tomorrow. Right,
Oh.
Chris?
Holden just said like the call time sheet. He recommended do it.
Okay, yeah.
That's a great idea.
I do have a broker Q&A tomorrow at 10 o'clock here in the
Mhm.
office.
Are we doing that one live only?
I'm okay either way, Melissa.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe we'll Zoom it as well as live. In case somebody's on the beach of Hawaii and wants to, join in the broker Q&A.
Yeah, that's what you want to do on the beach in Hawaii.
Yeah. So, yeah, and then Ribbon, we'll be doing a class with Ribbon again. Ryan with Ribbon will be here on June 8th. So,
So you can see that. Everybody can read that.
This is privately.
Oh.
All right. Anything else exciting anybody wants to talk about? Nope. Okay. Well, I hope everybody has a good, what's today? Hump day. We're halfway through it, almost. All right. Well, if anybody needs anything, y'all know how to find us.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good day.